Welcome to Process to Profitability, hosted by me, Samantha Mabe. Process to Profitability centers on strategic processes that reduce costs while increasing conversions, productivity, and efficiency for creative CEO women who are growing sustainable, successful service-based businesses. We'll discuss strategies that produce sustainable profits and how to apply these processes to your small business through solo episodes and some amazing guests this season. Hi, Laura. Thanks for doing this website review.
I jumped at the opportunity for this because, and I'll get into this, but my website has totally just been like stitched together over the last like 3-4 years. So it's a whole mixed bag. And so I would just love to see what your expert opinion is on things that could be better. I have been learning a lot about client journey and guiding them through, and I've gotten so much more clear in how I serve clients over the last year that I want to make sure that my website is crystal clear about that too, and that I'm not getting like the wrong kind of leads. That was an issue for me before, where I was kind of getting some junk leads because I was talking about services that I wasn't really doing anymore. So I was like, oh, well, maybe I should stop talking about those on the website. So it's come a ways, but I know it still has a ways to go.
What you do so that people can kind of get an idea of your business and who it is that you serve, because that really does impact the design of a website.
Right. Okay, so I'm Laura Kelly. I am the CEO of Tulabook. So we are a bookkeeping firm, and we do both monthly bookkeeping and we provide QuickBooks VIP days for clients. Now, I will say this, we don't have a niche right now. We're still trying to figure that out. But I feel like for the most part, majority of times we do work with female entrepreneurs. Not to say that, we have some men on our roster, and they're just delightful. And we also have folks from a lot of different industries. Like we've got a big e-commerce brand. We've got a fair number of service providers. We do have some brick and mortar, like we work with a boutique locally here in Pittsburgh. So we kind of have the gamut. And my theory with that is I'm trying everything until I figure out what sticks. I think if I had to talk about my ideal client avatar, I feel like though the one theme, and this is like very kind of vague, but I work with people that I really like and the people that really value what we bring to the table. So usually the common thread there is that their bookkeeping keeps them up at night, and maybe it's something that they've kind of gotten into a little bit of a mess. They don't know what to do. It makes them nervous, and then they kind of avoid it, and then they've got like a cleanup situation. So that's usually how they come to us. So they're they're real nervous about things. They've got anxiety about their numbers, and they also just don't have any clarity on what their numbers really could be telling them. Like, what's the actual value underneath their numbers, as opposed to just, oh, my books are clean. So that's where we can take them from like messy and stressed out and anxious to a big old sigh of relief. Now we can take it to the next step with our monthly clients, where we can show them all the interesting information that's hiding in their numbers that they just don't even know how to get at right now.
Would you say that your clients are people who've been in business for a while? They're making a good amount of revenue in their business?
Yeah. I mean, they're usually at least north of 6 figures. For the most part. And they're pretty established, because to be able to afford a monthly bookkeeper, not that our fees are like crazy expensive or anything, but to have that monthly retainer on their expenses, they need to be pretty established and know that like their income is predictable. So yeah, they've been in business a couple years. They're a little bit more established. They don't have to be multiple 6 figures. We've got some gals that are just like hovering around the 6-figure mark. But yeah, they need to be it needs to be a proven business model.
That makes sense. And those are probably the people that are ready to like just hand things off and be like, I've done this enough on my own. It's clearly not working. I know that it's worth investing in somebody who actually knows what they're doing.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like that's the avatar as well for a VIP day client, although sometimes I will work with a VIP day client that maybe is not quite established yet. They're working on getting to that, and they're being proactive about their QuickBooks, because the VIP day, the way I describe it is that's the done with you service. So it's like, okay, I'm getting everything set up for you. I'm documenting everything you need to do inside of your QuickBooks, but then the purpose is you are now going to DIY that going forward. So those folks are usually a little bit more early stage.
That makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about how, like, your website journey. How did you start? Where are you now? Kind of how have things come together?
When I realized that this was like going to become my next thing, I knew I needed a website right away. So, well, the first step was I knew I needed a logo, because I had the name. Like I've had the name Toolabooks actually for about 12 years when I started moonlighting QuickBooks, but like never had a brand surrounding it because it was just the one guy that I was doing QuickBooks for. But then fast forward to making this business real, I needed a logo. So I did end up finding somebody Upwork. So I found a really great gal. I really jived with her. She was very early on in building her graphic design business. And I was like, I'm brand new too. We're like Nikki New Kid together, you know? And it was really cool. So initially I worked with her just on the logo design, and I thought she did such a fantastic job. And I was like, oh, well, you could build a website for me. Oh, and you mean I have to like come up with the copy? Wait, what? So obviously, like I had no idea about any of that stuff, but she taught me all of that. So I very quickly hired her to do the website design, and I did also hire a copywriter. I just knew, like, yeah, I could have probably figured out both of those elements, but it was going to take me so long. And client work at that time was getting super busy that I just knew I didn't have time for that. So yeah, so I outsourced that. So that was like version 1 of the website. The logo has stayed the same. I haven't done a rebrand or anything like that. The colors and everything, that's all been the same since day one. Within the last year, I did have another graphic designer that I have known now in this new like online business community. She did my one page of the website, which is the QuickBooks VIP day. So that got a total refresh, redesign. Well, the page didn't exist before, so she added that one for me. And I kind of took some of her suggestions and some of the newer design elements that she did, and I kind of just like DIY'd, sprinkled some of those elements.
And
Yeah.
what platform are you on?
I'm on Wix right now.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is share my screen, and we're going to go through your website. All right. So this is your home page. And I love that you have an image of yourself up here, and that like the blue really pops. It's easy to read. I would say from accessibility, I don't know if the color contrast on this is high enough.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to check, but your sizes are good. So it's nice and clean and easy to read. And your menu up here is pretty simple too. So you don't have a million different things. You've got a drop down here, but everything else is like, okay, this actually makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Instead of the people that have a million links, I would, and we can look at the FAQ page. A lot of times I like to put this either on a contact page or with the services instead of separate, just because it puts it where people are actually looking for it.
That makes sense.
All right. So then you've got your download here. Do you have a lot of people download this? Do you get a lot of people on your email list this way?
I mean, what do you consider a lot? I might get a couple a month. It depends on if I'm promoting it on Instagram or not.
So
no, not a ton, not a
they
ton.
come more from Instagram than from your website then. Like you promote it on Instagram and then
they land on the website.
Yeah.
Most likely. I think that's the path.
Okay. This was really common for a lot of people, but that came from course creators who like, you need to build a huge email list in order to have services. I recommend you do is you can add like, I don't know in Wix specifically, but add like a banner at the top that's just a bright green that directs people to this. If they're coming from Instagram, it's really easy for them to find it, but you're not using up the space right under your banner for this information when it's not the most important thing for people.
That's a great point. Yeah, it's really not.
Another note, you've got your book a call button here with the black lettering.
Yeah, that one needs to be black too.
Okay, so we balance your book so that you can find balance in your business. I really like that. And I love how you use this graphic. You can tighten up some of the space. And I think if you remove the newsletter from there, you could like tighten it up to the headline. It would tie together really easily. And then you've got your bio and learn more. I'm assuming that goes to your about page.
Well, the other thing that's missing from the about page is my team. And I've been like grappling with this for a long time. Like, do I get headshots for my team?
You have like an agency, so you've got bookkeepers that your clients specifically would work with, like an assigned bookkeeper. They're not going through you and only communicating through you.
Exactly. So that's a big piece that's missing. I mean, I do use the word like me and my team, and I say we. I tried to change all of the copy because it used to just be like the Laura show, you know. So yeah, but it's still not. It could be way more clear about that for sure.
Yeah. I think what could be helpful here is to have a picture of your team and change this section to be more about your team and how you got, like, you can still use a lot of this information, the working through the nitty-gritty financial genius details, all of that, but have your team up front here and then go into your story and how you started the business on the about page, clear from the beginning that they might not be working directly with you, but you guys are all on the same page. You are a team, you work together.
Okay, that's a great idea.
So then we've got testimonials and these scroll. I like how you have highlighted like the important stuff in the green. That's really nice.
Yeah.
So that's good. All right, so we've got how you work with people. I would make this a little bit wider on this page. This whole section would be shortened up a little bit if you could make the text block wider.
Oh, I see. Okay.
If you've got your information about your monthly bookkeeping and your QuickBooks cleanup, so those would go to those services page. I think that's great. That's a great way to do that. I would look at making these squared off since that's how all your buttons are to keep it consistent. Bring balance to your business. Let's chat. It looks like this text is not centered. That's me being nitpicky. You've got it off centered here, which it can add some interest. You could almost bump both of these things like over to the side and add a little bit more fun. You've got your newsletter down here, your links. Okay, so links there. And then you've got the information about what you do and your location, which can be helpful because some people might be interested in meeting with you locally. So that's good. You've got your copyright. The only thing I don't see here is like policies and terms and conditions link that you might need to add.
Yeah, I don't have one of those.
I just tell most of my clients there are templates out there that you can update, but you do need them because there's a lot of places that are really clamping down on that for sites, and you just want to avoid any trouble.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's a good tip. I know I've been needing to do that.
Then you've got your chat. So do you find a lot of people use this?
It does happen every so often, but like, yeah, I guess I get an email notification. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't really know. And then I think I have to log in to Wix to respond. And then it just kind of looks like an email chain back and forth. Like I'd rather somebody just go, I mean, I'd rather them just do like the book a call thing or something. But.
Yeah, I think that it's not that the design is bad. It's just if you can figure out what that main call to action is, if you want them to get on a call, then that's kind of what you want to push people towards.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So about make bookkeeping personal. Okay.
Yeah, so I say like my team and I, but yeah, like there's no pictures of anybody or anything.
Yeah. And I think this is the only image I've seen that's like rounded off like this. So I would be interested, like as you go through things, is that something you want to keep, or would you just rather square everything? Make a decision about that.
I think we were trying to play with the roundedness, the logo, and then that like a juxtaposition with more of the like sharp edges. So we're kind of trying to do both, I think.
Yeah, I think then what you could do is similar is add your team somewhere on the page and just have their images in that same shape, and then it would look really consistent for people. So you're a storyteller, history of Tula books. Yeah, so what I think would make sense is to have your team on this page, maybe before the history. And you could either, if they want to have like their bios and their information, you could have each of them have a headshot, name, kind of, and bio. Some people don't like to include the bios, so then you could at least just have a headshot and their name so that people, when you were to say, okay, this is your assigned bookkeeper, they could go and at least see what they look like, connect that way.
That's true. That's an excellent point. Yeah.
Kind of like when you schedule a doctor's appointment and you've never been there and you like go look up who the doctor is because you want to know who you're meeting with.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
true.
a very similar thing because this is like getting at some really personal stuff in your business. You want to know that the person is somebody you're going to connect with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
All right. So then you've got the history of Tula books. I like this call to action here. And it's always good when you have picture view facing the words, you know, that helps people connect. That's a big website design thing. Clearly, your photographer knew what they were doing to add that extra space next to you.
I guess she did. Yeah. That's awesome. I never thought about that.
Right. And then I think having this here is fine. Like having it at the bottom of
At the
your
bottom.
page makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. It gives people a place to opt in. You could do something similar on your homepage, like add it further,
Move
not
that.
as the top section.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, so we've got 2 services. Monthly bookkeeping.
This page is embarrassing. I'm just gonna say it. I hate this page so much because this was the general layout of all the pages that I had from the very beginning. This was just kind of the general layout that we used on
Okay.
all of those individual services pages. Just because I haven't done a total redesign of this one, which just breaks my heart because this is really like this is obviously our core service is monthly bookkeeping. So yeah, I just wanted to caveat that this is just totally like I've refreshed some of the copy and that's about it.
Okay.
So
So what I would do, because it's just it's up to date with the trends, is you could take this image and put it behind the headline, add that green background like you have on the homepage, and then jump into this modern bookkeeping approach, have your call to action. That button is a lot larger than any of the other ones on the site, so I would just make it a consistent size. And that would also add space here because the image and this text are pretty tight. So you got your testimonials. I would do this one like the homepage where somebody can actually click through the arrows as well, so it's not scrolling automatically. And then clean up these to match what's on your homepage. So they've got that yellow border, and we talked about squaring off the edges. I think you could do the same thing here. But I almost think that you could add some of this as separate sections, like talking about you're not the old-fashioned straight-laced accountant could be one section, have a picture of your team there. You've got your dedicated trusted advisor, you could have a picture there, and then get into what this package includes. So you can really highlight all of these things that you do and why they might be important. And then I think for here, you're ending on a call to action to go to another page. And I know you've got your free like quote here. Is that to book a call?
Yeah, it takes to the call intake form.
Okay. I think I would change that language to just say book a call to get to know us or chat with us or something. I don't know that get a free quote is going to resonate with the type of people you're bringing in, because they're not like, I want an insurance quote and I'm going to fill out all this information and get phone calls from a million different people. Like they're ready to just talk to somebody.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think you could get rid of it altogether and maybe just end with add another testimonial down there, and then a final call to action for booking a call. If people know that's not the right fit and you're talking about both your VIP day and monthly bookkeeping on social media, then they will find it because it's in your main menu.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Okay. So then you've got the QuickBooks cleanup. So this is the VIP day, and this is more along the lines of your homepage and the other stuff that you've updated. I think a lot of this you can just update on the monthly bookkeeping to just keep the style the same. But I like how you have this, you've highlighted the green. That's always fun to do. And you've got like these overlapping images here, which I really like as a design, but you don't have it anywhere else on the site. So I think what you have to do is pick, like, do we want the rounded images? Do we want the overlap? Which elements do we want to add fun? And then keep it consistent throughout so that it all looks really cohesive.
Yes, I agree. And then I also just noticed, like, so this, you'd love if you could, the text is all static, but then the section below, if you go to and you're tired of, the text floated in, and I don't think the top section did that. Again, it's just another consistency thing.
Yeah. And some of that is like personal preference. If you like text floating in, I usually don't set it up that way because I just like to just scroll down the page. But if you like it, that's totally fine. Just keep it consistent especially with sections that are designed to be so similar. And I think you could also include a picture of your team at least somewhere on this page as well. Maybe this approach, but you're at a pivotal moment. Like this highlight is halfway under the text, but everything else is behind the full text. So I think it's just a consistency piece. Like, how do we want that to lay out? But it looks like you've sectioned this really well. So I think you could make the quotation mark there a little bit smaller, still keep that overlap, but just shrink it down so it's not the thing that stands out most on the page. And then you've got this one set up to scroll. There's just nothing there. So I would at least one more testimonial. If it's going to show up like you can scroll, give people something that they're going to see.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. So then, and you've set up the headlines and subheads really well so that it makes sense when you're reading to like jump things out. So like this is the headline, but you've got this, it stands out more than that does. So like that is all laid out well.
Good. Okay. Good to know.
Okay. So then we've got this. I would look at putting these 1, 2, 3, 4 across just to shrink this section a little bit. And then I think you could align all of this with the edge of that headline. Center aligned text is harder to read. So if we can left align it, that's easier for people. Then this is you and information about you. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because this page, I feel like it was built to be like a standalone, right? Because it like duplicates my bio, but like that's on another section of the website. Is that common?
So most sales pages like this that are kind of long form are still going to have a bio. What can help is to just change up the text a little bit so that if people are really digging into it, it's not an exact copy, but it gives them like some different information. Most people, if they've read your about page and they've gotten this far, are not necessarily going to read your bio. But if you're just landing here as the first thing, you do want it there so that they can learn more about you. Okay. Really big button again.
Yeah, I know. Oversized.
All right. So these are your steps. I have started adding GIFs to my website because my copywriter added them and I love them. This is the only one I've seen. So I would either just go back and see if you can add one to every page as you update things, or use something else here because it's going to stand out as like this is the only place. It might feel a little bit like out of place, like inconsistent because you're not using them everywhere.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then that smaller, again, add another testimonial. And you can duplicate them from your homepage. Like they can be the same testimonials from other places. You don't have to worry about repeating those as long as they're still like speaking to that important thing that of the transformation. This is your framework. I think I would move the framework up.
Okay.
And maybe even number it. So like on top of these boxes, you could add a number, or even within the box, just add a number for the framework. Or if they've got titles for each of those sections, include that.
Honestly, I think just those text boxes, nothing's drawing my eye to those to read them. Even that, these are better, like these yellow ones, because it's like you have the bold and then you have the italics.
Yeah, I think it's
like
the color choices. So I think you could add your framework almost needs to come before what you're going to get out of it, or like somewhere up further
so
up.
it's like, so you talk about how we do what we do, and then here's what you're getting.
Yeah. Because in this case, like you've already told them how to sign up for a VIP day before you even talked about what you're doing on the VIP day.
Like how we do it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is really nice and it makes sense where it is. You have the price, you kind of tying things together. Really like going back to who is the right fit for this. And then you've got the book a call. I would make the text on this go wider again and maybe left align, like maybe just move it over to one side, left align it so that it's simple, easier to read. You've got your FAQs. And then I think I would add another call to action at the bottom here, or move the FAQs up before this very last one.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense.
So I think some of this is going to be like figuring out consistency throughout the whole website. And then what order does it make sense to have these sections in? So blog. So this is fine. I mean, blogs can be pretty simple. You've got consistent images. You could, as you're doing this, like change out this image of you to just add some stock photos, make them a little bit different. But you know, you've got your text. It's really easy for people to figure out what it is here. I do wonder, because like the title here is different than the title there, if that causes any confusion for people. This one is the same. Sure. Not all of them are. So just consider that. A call.
So this actually is a redirect. And I've been wondering, like, because I've changed my redirect a couple times. I have been trying to figure out how can I just have tulabooks.co/book-a-call and have it go to the Airtable form, or should I've seen people where they embed the Airtable form on their page. That would just be a lot easier for sharing purposes.
So you can either set up a redirect in the back end of your website. If they type in the URL book a call, then it redirects to this Airtable form. It would to what's already there. I think it would make a lot of sense because you don't have a separate contact page, is to make a contact page that has a short introduction. It's got like your email, your social media links, maybe your phone number if you talk to people on the phone, like whatever information they might need, and then embed that Airtable form next to it so that it's all in one place. And if somebody has a question, but they don't want to fill out that whole form, they can just send you an email.
I do get a lot of people fill out the form because it's the only way for them to take a next step right now, which I kind of like that because I want them to fill out that form because there is information that I want and need to know. So I've had, you know, quite a few leads come through since I implemented that Airtable like 2 months ago.
Yeah. I think then what would make sense is to make a contact form, just give people that information so they're not going off of your website for bounce rate purposes and everything. And instead of like a generic contact form, just embed this Airtable form. And unless you see like things drop or everybody's sending you an email instead of filling out the form, that should work. If you get to the point where, well, everybody's sending me an email from my contact page instead of filling out this form, then you could go back and revisit it. It gives you a really easy link to share. It gives, it helps with your bounce rate because they're not saying, oh, I'm interested in this, and then leaving your website, which is what they're doing now. And you can brand it more consistently too. And I think at the bottom of that contact page, because we talked about, you've got this FAQ page. At the bottom of that contact page, you could then include these FAQs. You know, you've got your form, then you say do you have more questions? Here are those answers. And then you can also include that opt-in so that people have a couple of options if they're not ready to fill it out. And then it cleans up this menu so that it's really simple. Like, you learn about us, you can find out about the team, you pick which service it is, and then you go straight to reaching out to book a call.
Would you keep the wording in the menu to be book a call? Or would you change it to contact?
I think you could change it to contact because you're still going to be linking to that page from everywhere you've said book a call on your buttons. But in the menu, people are going to know, like, okay, that's where I go to really reach out for more information. If you leave it as book a call, what I think could be helpful is if it's possible to turn it into a button so that it stands out more on your menu.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Whereas right now, like, your FAQs is the last thing. And when it comes to design, when you're looking at your menu, you look at it as these are the steps in this order that somebody would follow. So you want that last step to be the action somebody should take.
So is the order right now home, about, services? I guess book a call should be next and then blog, right?
Usually I don't link to the homepage because your logo should be linked. It's not in this case. And that might be a Wix platform thing.
No.
So you would have home, about, services, blog, book a call. And your FAQs, we could move into one of those other pages, or you can drop them under services if you want to keep it a separate page.
So the VIP day has a long form sales page, and that seems to make sense to me. For some reason, the monthly bookkeeping, would you do a similar style long form for monthly bookkeeping and just almost treat it like it could be a standalone thing that people are just coming to my site for that?
You could. I don't think it needs to be as long because people understand what monthly bookkeeping is more than they understand what a VIP day is.
Okay, so that's why people use long form.
Because you're having to explain more, whereas monthly bookkeeping, you can still keep, like, we have the testimonials and we explain the steps and we explain what we do, but you don't need kind of as much in-depth information.
Got it. That's kind of where I was leaning to. Okay. But I can still use some of the same style elements.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. That's great. Thank you.
Thanks so much for going through your website with me. If anybody is interested in having me review their website, I offer free website reviews at lemonandthesea.com/review. And I record those, and they're not nearly this long, but this was fun to walk through it step by step and answer questions for you.
Thank you, Samantha.